The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is September 14th, 2020. This is episode 242. And today, Tyranny-Soros Rex. And you know me, I'm not a dinosaur hunter, but I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz, Dinosaurs Were Nephilim, and welcome to another episode where we go live. We're live on a whole bunch of platforms, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, Periscope, and Facebook. Thank you guys for joining us. If you are live, thank you guys for listening. If you're listening afterwards to the clear version of the audio on RSS, that's the best way to probably consume the show.
It is. But it's not live, so we get it.
Yeah, we get it.
These are trade-offs. It's like buying a car, it's just all trade-offs. You got to figure out what's going to work best for you.
Sure.
Gonz, I love the title. Love the title of the show. I'm pretty sure we're going to get mega banned for having Soros in the title, but I just could not argue. You're a genius, a gentleman, and a scholar. And with that said, I've actually been watching Jurassic Park over again, the whole series recently, past few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing a little Sunday Jurassic Park rewatch. And I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I've been working on my dinosaur noises.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I was wondering if maybe I could do it on the show.
Sure.
It's gonna be.
If this is either a great idea or a horrible idea, well, we'll find out.
I feel too. It's either gonna be horrible or hopefully, if we have all our settings dialed, it'll sound okay.
Okay, so let me. This is some ambiance noise for you. It's about 20 seconds of a nighttime ambience. I don't even know what that means, but here we go.
I'm gonna do a couple. Oh yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I'm going to do a couple, and I want people in the chat to let me know what they think. I realize that this is a little bit different from how we usually start the show. But you know what? We're all family here, and we're having fun. If you're new to the show, don't worry. It gets better after this. So here we go. Here are my dinosaur impressions. This is my Tyranny-Soros Rex from Jurassic Park, the original one. Okay. So imagine a Tyranny-Soros Rex is really letting it loose.
Okay.
I'm going to try to do it further away from the microphone. My cat ran away. She didn't like that. That was Tyranny-Soros Rex.
Not bad. I will say
my best one. I'm a little cold right now. I didn't do my warm-ups.
You need to warm up your throat.
Yeah.
Brings me back to my Screamo days. I used to be a lead singer of a Screamo band. It's
good. You get the same sort of catharsis.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have one more. This is from Jurassic World. It's various. This is from various velociraptors.
We're getting never again, please, in the chat.
This is various velociraptors throughout the series, but specifically in the first Jurassic World, where the raptors really played a role in they're a lot about their communication. So hold on, here we go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, ooh. What do you think?
I like the little the skips, the little.
Well, they made a big deal about how the raptors are so smart and they can communicate with each other, and they really put a lot of energy into giving the raptors different noises. So I'm not sure what I just said in Raptor, but it was directly from the script.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Thanks,
All right,
everybody. Show's over. Show's come to an end. We're done.
I'm generally seeing support in the chat.
General support. Okay.
Generally supportive. I'm getting some good criticism, some constructive criticism. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for humoring me, everybody.
You know,
if it's your first time listening to the show, I apologize.
One of the things that I've always wanted to be is a Foley, for a movie. Which is the people who make the sound effects for movies, like the crunching sound of shoes on the the pavement or whatever. And I've actually seen the creation of the T-Rex sound design, and it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's like a car crash and like different animals, and it's all blended together for this massive roar. But who needs that when you have Basil behind the mic?
I could just do it. Ep88 Mr. E Babylon in chat says he's withdrawing his Patreon support.
Oh no.
Sorry. Yeah. Another fun fact, I believe it was Chewbacca
that was
in
its
Star
own
Wars.
dinosaur.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It just comes out now. Chewbacca had pigs. Is his sound, original sound was based on pigs.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the show. What do you think?
Can't deal with it right now, Basil.
Let's hit that Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, so Flippy update. For those who don't know, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and frankly, flirting with our spouses. We use it as a conversation, not just about disembodied robot arms, but exactly how robots are making their way into our lives, no matter whether we want them to or not. Flippy, the original burger flipping robot, promising to change the face of burger joints forever. But today is a little different. This is kind of a macro Flippy update, but let's get into it. This is from arm.com. Very it just makes sense. Arm.com. Next generation robots powered by ARM. So no longer is Flippy just an arm. He's powered by ARM. As part of the ARM Made Possible series, we recently got to know the team at Misty Robotics, led by the visionary Ian Bernstein. Or is it Bernstein?
Bernstein or Bernstein?
Bernstein. Misty Robotics' mission is to put a robot in every school, home, and workplace, and they're well on their way. The team has created and launched the world's first professional-grade platform robot, which gives developers, educators, and researchers access to a powerful platform for robotic development that can be customized to their needs, focus areas, and customer demand. Where once the world of robotics was accessible only to roboticists, this 14-inch feat of innovation is what Bernstein calls, quote, the key to unlocking the future of robots. An ideal personal robot. It's ideal, Gons. An ideal personal robot. Misty can be programmed in any language, and no experience in robotics is needed. It bridges the gap between hardware and software, giving the world's 23 million developers, which seems low to me, but 23 million coders in the world, or anyone comfortable with code, even more of an opportunity to pave the way toward the future tech. This game-changing robot's name is Misty, and her tools include a pre-built command center, skill runner, and API Explorer, all accessible through a UX-friendly SDK interface. Since her launch, developers have been actively building skills for use cases that span everything from elder care, inventory data collection, and home property inspection. The environmental monitoring environmental monitoring, autism therapy, and personal engagement. That is a wide net of uses. Powered by ARM technology from head to wheels, ARM Cortex-A processors are at the heart of Misty, running machine learning, multi-microphone voice processing, and simultaneous localization and mapping. Little acronym for that, SLAM. Cool.
You running SLAM, bro?
Running SLAM.
SLAM on your robots?
localization and mapping. Roomba really slams. While Cortex-M processors are found in the control systems powering her movement and motor control, among other things, Misty is one of the many examples of where ARM technology is going a step further and playing its part in bringing the autonomous world to life. Ooh. A little bit of info about ARM processors. Yeah, we'll just go through. ARM processors are pervasive in robotics across every industry, and then in various compute elements within each robot. They power everything from the path planning and safety systems in self-driving vehicles to sensors that enable vibration analytics in industrial applications. The best-in-class performance per watt in drones used by emergency response services. It's this pervasiveness that has seen ARM pivot somewhat in our approach to creating this technology. This is especially true in the machine learning realm, which powers so much of robotics today. ARM has always focused on pairing the best compute solution to a given workload. In the emerging field of autonomous robotics, we're looking across all forms of compute and the necessary software to enable developers to get the best out of that computing power. ARM's highly collaborative way of working is key to helping us power progression and innovation across a multitude of industries, particularly the burgeoning autonomous sector. We're working with key OEMs, Tier 1s, autonomous technology providers, and the broader ecosystem to bring the processing power necessary for devices within this realm to connect, communicate, and make decisions of their own. This is our way of helping build an autonomous future for a broad range of applications, from autonomous robotics to autonomous vehicles. Through the combination of ARM's Cortex CPUs, Mali GPUs, ML processors, and our software ecosystem, autonomous devices of tomorrow will have the power to sense, perceive, decide, and actuate, not unlike their cousin Misty. So there's a lot in there, Gons, but the main story is Misty being developed by Misty Robotics. Just to put it in simple language, it is a very powerful robot, but it's like a platform. So it's more like they're making the programming of robots, especially autonomous and AI and all the kind of spooky stuff. They are making it easier for a normal person to program and create, the life of an autonomous robot. And this is kind of akin to, in the worldview that we kind of hold on this show, sometimes playfully, sometimes seriously. This is kind of like similar to, hey, we created this bomb that anybody can have and play with. Go ahead, kids. You don't even need bomb experience. It'll just, you'll figure it out. And making it available to program in any language is also a pretty impressive feat. This is how the movie starts. This is how the robotic takeover movie starts. You can consider, just to get like really sensational and alarmist here, I'm just going to admit it, giving, ISIS the ability to program machine learning and robots to do whatever they want them to do. This is really it's creating an ecosystem of wildlife. That we just don't know what people will do with this. And it's a little bit spooky considering what people are already doing without it being so easy.
Well, you have Miso Robotics, and now you have Misty Robotics.
I know. There's something there, isn't it?
Something. But also, this is more so almost like the WordPress was for websites, where, it was really kind of difficult and challenging. You had to know a whole bunch of stuff to put up a website at the beginning. You had to know how to code and do a whole bunch of stuff. But then WordPress and Blogspot, a couple of these platforms came, Squarespace later on, they came out to make it very easy for anybody to tap into the power of making websites. And then it was up to the people to create whatever they want, whether it's false information, whether it's, unsavory material, whatever it was, they had the ability to do it.
Radicalization zones.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is what you're tapping into there with the idea of a bomb example is very similar to that, where people are going to take this and they're going to be able to create whatever they want with the robot. And, if there is any silver lining to this concept, we should get, young believers out there to code, Bible stuff or like Bible speaking
evangelism
evangelism robots, which
you can send it. Okay. Imagine this. It's like a riot.
Yes.
Whether it's Black Lives Matter or adjacent radicals, the Antifa riot going on, and you want to go in and evangelize. Well, you can't. So like a police, bomb defusing robot, you send in your little evangelism robot that'll just cruise around the riot and tell people about Jesus. That little sucker will not survive, but it's better than having to go in yourself.
That was kind of my point, is that in the apocalypse, it will not survive, especially given certain prophecies there. But also, that's one way maybe as things unfold, we fight back, or at least for the time being. And then we can use the robot personhood argument to be like, hey, you're going to destroy this robot, even though you don't like what it's saying.
That's violence, man.
Yeah.
You can't. And again, okay, now we're going deep. So, we talk about the personhood of robots. There's a big movement to consider, sufficiently autonomous robots as people. When they're making their own decisions, they got to be legally liable for their own stuff like that. But now if one of these sort of autonomous robots gets beat up in a riot, that's assault, baby. That's not destruction of property. That is destruction of person if the robot is now a person.
Right.
So, they'll have to be legally liable. That's first-degree assault. And, God forbid anything mortal. This robot takes a mortal wound. That's homicide, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's funny how it's so cute. They always make him so
I know.
cute. You got the picture there. It's the cutest little munchkin I've ever seen, and that's how they get you.
The other irony is powered by ARM, but this little robot really doesn't have arms.
Robot army. Just spouting nonsense now. Okay. All right. So there you go. That's the Flippy update. It's who knows what'll come of this, but we got to pray that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. This cute little sucker can become an agent of chaos.
Couple really kind of intense Flippy updates the last couple episodes, I feel like. From
I know.
AI writing its own article talking about how he can't help himself destroy humanity, to a robot company admitting that they're going to get into every school, home, and workplace.
I know. Well, see, and that's the thing with the Flippy updates. A lot of people, they kind of don't get it. They want us to be like super intense and spooky in our show. We like to take it a little bit lighter. But if you take the history of the Flippy updates, it really shows why we've been doing it. Because it started out with, oh my gosh, this robot can flip a burger. How cute.
Right.
This will revolutionize hamburgers. And then, through the years of Flippy updates, it's like, oh, this robot is going to literally take over the world and be influenced by any crazy person who can afford to just get their hands on one.
Yep, we'll keep track of it. There's other, we do have another sort of cyborg type of story later on after the break today, but for the time being, let's get updated on a few things here.
Let's do it.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
33 updates. Oh, no, we don't have 33 updates, but a whole bunch of headlines with 33 in it.
That's a lot of updates.
That's a lot of updates. This is ESPN.com. Georgia Southern has 33 football players inactive due to coronavirus, other issues.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I don't really care about that other than 33 football players. And, football being a major Illuminati outlet in advertising.
Sure.
More 33 headlines. This is from ABC7NY.com. 33 guns traded for cash taken off streets of New York City.
Whoa, that's weird. That's
Yeah.
not enough. Why is they bragging about that?
Organizers
That's not a lot.
organizers say a gun buyback event in a part of Brooklyn that has long struggled with violent crime was a success. Officials say 33 guns were taken off the street thanks to the event at St. Paul Community Baptist Church on Saturday. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Safer
wow.
streets thanks to 33 guns traded in for cash.
Wow.
If that's not like signaling from the elite.
Totally.
I don't know what it's like, gun trading for cash.
Yeah.
33. I mean, yeah, anyway.
And like, why? That's not even that many.
No, that's not that many. Like, that's
why
like
would
one
you even brag
person's.
about that?
Yeah, it's like one guy's arsenal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know guys who that's like just what they keep in their bedroom safe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's a success, especially given the kind of violent eruptions taking place just on the streets of New York in the last few months. Just kind of ridiculous to even report that. And another 33 update. This was actually updated to 35 or 36 as time went on, but I think it's WLKY.com. Winds become a worry as death toll reaches 33 from West Coast fires. And I don't know why they decided 33 was the number to report because, again, it went up. I think it's like 35, 36 now, but, got to do the headline with the 33 to signal
right at
to
33.
Yeah. Got to signal to the
Quick,
controllers.
get the story out before
before there's more.
Before it changes.
Yeah, and actually a couple of the headlines from other outlets did update it. I did see them as links. The link said 33, and then I clicked on it, and it said 35. So, yep. And did you want to share that 33 update of yours while we're here?
I don't think it's gonna work, especially after I already invaded the show with my dinosaur impressions.
Okay.
So I was gonna make it like a whole segment, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll just start. We'll run at it, see what happens. This was a 33 update that got delivered straight to my phone, and it's from BuzzFeed.com, and it said 33 cheap add-ons that'll help make things you already own better. And it's one of these lists that basically, they grab cheap Amazon doodads. You gotta get this. It'll make your life so much better.
How old is the article? Because I'm trying to look that up, and the only one I can find is 31 cheap add-ons that'll help.
Oh,
yeah,
funny.
From BuzzFeed.
No, it was posted 23 hours ago, updated 3 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's new. Yeah, I
here we
just
go.
searched
All
33 cheap add-ons that'll help you. So I don't know. Let me just scroll. They have things like the first one is some LED lights that you attach to your TV that shine different colored lights. There was one that really, I think the New World Order is really trying to influence us with, and it is a set of toaster-friendly bags that instantly transform your toaster into a frying pan. That's right. They're perfect for whipping up an ooey gooey grilled cheese when you can't really imagine the whole stove thing. So yeah, that's gonna, that might be the mark of the beast right there.
Mark of the toast.
Yeah, then I don't know. There's not enough here to do a whole segment, but hold on. There was one. Oh, this one's great. Number 6. It's just they're called chair socks.
Oh yeah,
and they're socks that you put on the bottom of your chair so it doesn't screech across the floor.
Yeah.
And they look like little kitty paws.
I have these at home. This is an old Japanese trick. It's just making its round to the west here.
It's funny. Somebody actually gave me these last Christmas, so I have a couple bar stools that have little kitty feet. Very cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, we're done. This was a great one. Actually, this one really caught my eye.
What number?
Number 12.
Okay.
It's a pack of button extenders that immediately add a whole inch of breathing room for too tight pants, extra comfort, or planning ahead when you go to the buffet. Let's be real. We've all unzipped mid-dinner. Add an extra inch to your waistline there. I could definitely use those.
This is just the cannibals fattening us up and making it okay.
Yes, eat
before
my
they
pretties.
Eat us. Yeah. All right. Anything else here?
Let's move on now. There's nothing there.
All right. Okay. Well, we got a couple quick updates on the whole Rona situation.
Waccine.
Waccine.
First one here is from the New York Times, and I got one of those things that doesn't allow me to read the actual headline. AstraZeneca partly resumes coronavirus. That's all I can read. Back. Yeah, I think it had something to do with testing resuming in the UK and not in the US. But,
so whatever their major side effect event that happened, they figure it's safe to continue.
Apparently, but I don't know because the New York Times wants me to pay them and give him their email address to read the article, which...
Come on, New York Times.
Yeah, New York Times, whatever. But an even more important update, this is from CBSNews.com. Canada reports no new deaths from coronavirus for the first time since March.
Whoa. Where is this?
Canada. You know?
Whoa.
Our friends up north?
Yeah, what's going on in Canada?
Canada reported no new deaths from COVID-19 on Friday for the first time in 6 months. The last time the country reported no new deaths from the virus on March 15th No new deaths from the virus on March 15th at the start of lockdown in North America due to the pandemic. As of Friday evening, over 6 million people had been tested for COVID-19 in Canada, 2.1%, which came back positive. Some 702 new cases were reported on Friday, but no new deaths, the Public Health Agency of Canada reported. According to the Public Health Agency of Canada, Quebec reported 1 new death on September 11th, but Ontario removed a previously reported death. Came back to life, Basil. That meant the number of deaths reported, 9,163, remained unchanged from the previous day. You know, what is going on where they're like, oh, we had 1 death. Never mind. Let's reverse that death. So we have no deaths in Canada.
Well, that's very interesting.
What's Trudeau doing over there that's making the Illuminati leaders all happy? They're like, hey, we'll give you the headline.
Well, it seems like a Canada PR situation since March. I mean, what is that, 4 months ago?
That's more than 4.
6? February, March. I'm bad. I always mix up March and May.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 6 months or something. 5 months.
6.
Okay.
3 plus 6 is 9. We're in the 9th month of the year.
You're right. We're in the okay. So 6 months. Yeah, no deaths in 6 months. That's pretty crazy. I mean, compared to the rest of the world, and when you're talking about taking down a previous death, you know, one of the big problems, obviously, we've had in the U.S. is the coding issue, and the comorbidities issue for reporting the deaths. So I wonder if they just have their coding straightened out, or, you know, they're not reporting comorbidity deaths, or maybe some sort of miracle happened where he woke up in the morgue. It's happening.
I know we did report that story of the girl that came back to life in the death bag or whatever.
I mean, we have people in America who have been dead for 7 months dying of COVID suddenly. You know, did you hear that story? The guy, I think his like mom died or something back in February or January, and then he got a COVID positive test showing up for her.
Yeah, it's like, ridiculous.
What? Yeah,
I just picture Trudeau, you know, seeing the 1 death in Ontario, and he glues his eyebrows back on, and he's like, "Hey, come on, man, give me that
Is
0
it an
number."
Year?
I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Well, it would.
It would matter, I know. But
it would add to the story because, maybe Trudeau is just, trying to look good.
Yeah, well, that's why he's got those fake eyebrows.
Hey, man, nobody's dying in my country. What's up?
Yeah, it's because I danced with the natives. Anyway.
Ignore the blackface. Twice? Not even once.
Yeah,
twice.
Yep. Oh, so anyway, there you go. I mean, this is we've obviously covered a whole lot on the whole Rona issue, from the actual documents, the WHO themselves published, that the World Health Organization, the inconsistencies and the wiggle room available for reporting, the errors that can be made with reporting, all of it. So if if this is the first time you're listening to us and you think, hey, we're you guys don't know what you're talking about, maybe go back a few episodes, check it out. We covered it all throughout the summer. It was pretty much all we covered for a few months. So
Yeah, well, and that's the thing with the live streaming, because people will find the live streaming and be wondering why we're wasting time talking about robots and not reporting on big stories. We do it. We just do 3 episodes a week.
Yeah.
And so go back. There's a lot of episodes to listen to.
A lot.
If there's something you want us to talk about, 99% chance we have talked about it in the past few months.
Yes.
So there you go. All right. Should we just get right into the real stuff?
Oh, we got a couple more here. Yeah, I got
Okay.
a couple more stories. This one I found interesting. It was hitting all the viralities of today.
Aliens.
About aliens. Always fun to check out the alien news. TheAtlantic.com. Something weird is happening on Venus.
Yeah.
The discovery of a strange gas in its atmosphere puts the planet, quote, into the realm of a perhaps inhabited world, a researcher says. After the moon, Venus is the brightest object in the night sky, gleaming like a tiny diamond in the darkness. The planet is so radiant because of its proximity to Earth, but also because it reflects most of the light that falls across its atmosphere more than any other world in the solar system. Something really weird is happening in those clouds. Scientists revealed today that they have detected traces of gas in the Venusian atmosphere that, according to everything they understand about Venus, shouldn't be there. They considered many explanations for what could be producing the gas, known as phosphine, and settled on an explanation guided by what they know about our planet. On Earth, phosphine, a toxic gas, is produced by microorganisms. Quote, as crazy as it might sound, our most plausible explanation is life. Clara Sousa Silva, a molecular astrophysicist at MIT and one of the authors of the new study, told me, yada, 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 goes on here. Here's what I want to point out here. Venus, of course, if you go look at Isaiah 14, verse 12, it's the morning star, the son of the dawn, son of the morning, and it's Lucifer. So, that's the word that was translated Lucifer. So, life on Lucifer. Heads up, everybody.
Uh-oh.
Aliens.
That's not good news.
Aliens.
I didn't throw the article for this in the thing, but there was an article about, remember all the recent declassifications of the Navy seeing UFOs?
Yes.
There was a retired commander who was part of those programs, and he said that it was a big, scary headline about how aliens have committed international war crimes, or act of war. And this was spurned from the fact that they tried to locate it, tried to lock on with radar, and whatever the object was jamming their radar, so they couldn't get any info on it. And apparently, I didn't know this, but according to international law, if you jam a different country's radar, that is an act of war. And so there's this big hubbub about the aliens have committed an act of war.
Yeah.
Part of the, the soft disclosure going on. They're not friends. They're committing acts of war.
That goes directly against what the New Agers, a lot of like the Dr. Stephen Greer camp of the UFO stuff wants us to believe, which is they're all good. They're disabling nuclear facilities and they're here to help us. They're here to help us evolve into a higher state.
Right.
And if you aren't familiar with our position on aliens, very hard to, at least for me, I don't know about you, Basil, but I don't believe that there are biological entities somewhere out there that grew from the same evolutionary process as what is alleged to have happened on Earth. If you look at all the evidence of alien encounters, a lot of it seems to be spiritual in nature, supernatural or metaphysical in nature. There's reports about people calling out to Jesus to stop alien abductions. But also, I think there are some sort of physical craft that are military or secret military, industrial complex, whatever you want to call it, the breakaway civilization have been developing for a very long time. And the kinds of quote unquote craft that may be out there that people see could be with technology that we actually have, but just not publicly. And I think a lot of the stuff that people see, like the nuts and bolts type of craft they see, is actually human made, perhaps reverse engineered from some kind of interdimensional thing or something. But more or less, I think that's what's happening. It's not aliens from outer space, as everyone would want us to believe.
Right.
But here's the propaganda getting us ready for, I don't know, Trump going on stage and telling us how, he met the aliens or something.
Yeah. Basil's True Love in the chat says, "Hey, Gons, have you heard of Age of Deceit? Sounds like you're quoting from it. Have you heard of that film?"
Yes. I think I've seen it a few times. Going back, I don't know, 10 years, I guess.
Yeah. No, you're very familiar.
Pretty good film. I recommend
All right,
it.
so there you go. More convincing to do as far as aliens are concerned, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always a point of discussion, but I just wanted to throw that out there because everybody was running with this story like, oh, it's true, the aliens. It's like, no aliens. No aliens.
Or at least not what you're thinking about aliens.
Yeah, but even still, it's like what? They found some gas that resembles biological farts.
Well, yeah, and that goes back to exactly the whole conversation about what exactly can we call aliens.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways. Anyway, one more quick update here. It has to do with the presidential election. Did you know we're in an election year, Basil?
I have noticed.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. We will launch a new age.
This was Breitbart.com. Donald Trump says he wants Joe Rogan to moderate 4-hour presidential debate.
Yes, I heard about this. Actually, again, for those, the people who tune in regularly, I just recently listened to Joe Rogan because Adam Curry from the No Agenda Show was on Joe Rogan, so I wanted to check in, see what is going on. And I ended up listening to Joe's most recent podcast with, I don't know, some guy named Tim or Tom Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy. Yeah. And they talked about it there. Of course, hey, everybody, I'm aware of the problems with Joe Rogan. I'm not trying to promote him. I'm just saying I've heard of him. But I think him doing a podcast style debate with the president and the Joe Biden, I think that would be the best way to go. I think that's the most 2020 thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and would be a great. I think that's a high tide raising all boats situation for podcasting in general.
I know the presidential debates have made it to the podcast, Basil. That's a whole nother realm. But
it hurts me how celebrities have sort of stolen podcasting. It's supposed to be the media of the people. It was sort of, when we started, it was a very like pirate type media to be putting out, and now it's just so mainstream.
I know.
I'm so hipster that it makes me mad.
Yeah, I know. It's 2012. We weren't super early, but we're definitely earlier than many podcasts out there that, shill a lot more than we do.
Right.
But there was a couple tweets that I thought were pretty funny based on this, Joe Rogan saying like, what do you think about gun control? And then have you seen that video of a bear killing a crocodile? That kind of like
he's
random.
all over the place, man.
Oh, I love it. That would be fantastic.
If you're distracted by me doing dinosaur impressions at the top of the show, following a Joe Rogan podcast, it would be almost impossible for you to do. And Gons the Cat, a new Twitch user. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for following us later in the show. But it says Joe would smoke, the guys would get a contact high, priceless. That's true. He'd light up a huge blunt, and Trump and Joe would get super blazed.
That would be really funny, actually.
It would be entertaining.
Yeah, I'd like to see. But I always love Trump's tweet here. He tweeted out Tim Kennedy's tweet that said, on my podcast with Joe Rogan, he offered to moderate a debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It would be 4 hours with no live audience, just the two candidates' cameras and their vision of how to move this country forward. Who wants this? And Trump retweeted that tweet and said, I do.
Wow.
I do.
Oh, my gosh.
Like he's committing to a marriage.
Next level marketing.
I know. This is really tapping into.
Can you imagine if Trump tweeted that he would want to come on our show?
Oh,
that
us on the
solve
map.
All of our problems.
Put us on the map, but also
it would also cause significantly more problems.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, we get phone calls from people we don't want to talk to, telling us to do things and say things.
I don't want the Secret Service snooping around.
Yeah, no, we got enough problems. We don't need this. But anyway, yep, just a quick update on that because I don't think we're going to see it. Obviously, there's no way Biden is going to sit there and have a conversation in a closed room with Trump across the way,
4 hours.
Let alone Joe. You know, he's gonna start talking about his bald head or something. I don't know. Anyway, those are the quick updates, which wasn't so quick, but there you go. Are you ready for real stories?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's jump into it.
The race wars.
Race wars.
The race war. I've warned you and warned you and warned you.
All right, so we have a bit of a conversation to have here, Gons, which I'm happy to have, but let's get a little background on what we're going to be talking about. This is dailymail.co.uk. Opening headline paragraph reads, LA County City Manager uses Malcolm X's controversial chickens come home to roost quote to describe shooting of 2 cops in Compton, saying the neighborhood is plagued by deputy gangs. My goodness. A Los Angeles County city manager used Malcolm X's controversial chickens come home to roost quote to describe the shooting of 2 officers in Compton. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department deputies, one the 31-year-old mother of a 6-year-old boy, the other a 24-year-old man, were ambushed by an unknown man at 7 p.m. on Saturday night while they sat in their patrol car at the Metro Blue Line station at Willowbrook Avenue on Oak Street. Both officers were shot in the head and underwent surgery. Both are currently in stable condition. That's great news. Police are still hunting the gunman and have offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. You know, I think about this sometimes when you hear stories like this. The guy got him in the 2 headshots, which is horrible. But, you know, he probably was like, yeah, I did it. I'm the best assassin. And they both survived headshots, which he is probably just really irksome to this evil person, which you can get a little bit of titillation out of. In response to the shootings, Linwood City Manager Jose Ometito posted an image with the words "chickens come home to roost," accompanied by a photo of Malcolm X. In 1963, Malcolm X used the phrase to describe John F. Kennedy's assassination in response to what he said was the president's lack of action against violence. Oh my gosh.
Ometito.
Ometito then used the phrase to describe the Compton cops, saying that the neighborhood had been plagued by deputy gangs that inflict fear and violence in the community. These deputies murdered, framed, this is a quote, these deputies murdered, framed, and stole from the community just because they could, he said. Quote, good deputies never turned on bad deputies for fear of retaliation, and when caught, most of these bad deputies kept their jobs and continued on their criminal career. Scrolling. The reference to deputy gangs referred to a group of 100 deputies at the Compton station who are part of a gang called the Executioners. Notice how this is stated matter-of-factly. Very interesting. I got to look into that more, if that is a matter of fact or if that's kind of a conspiracy theory.
It's kind of known, I think, in the community.
Is that?
Yeah.
Well, that's not very cool then. A whistleblower complaint filed with LA County claims that nearly all members have a matching tattoo to symbolize their status in the gang, comprised of a skull with Nazi imagery and an AK-47. Can you look up this tattoo, see if you can find an image of it?
Yeah.
Comprised of a skull with Nazi imagery and an AK-47. African-American deputies and women are not allowed to join the gang, according to the complaint filed in June. After he posted the comment on Instagram, Ometito appeared to apologize, saying, quote, the shooting of anyone is a wholly unacceptable occurrence in society. I do not condone the type of violence seen in the shooting of the deputies yesterday in Compton. Oh, you coward. You coward. Of course you do. You're just saying this so you don't lose your job. He finished the post with a demand for justice for people who were killed by police. The fact that someone randomly opened fire on deputies is to be expected in the society we live in today. Well, no, it's not.
No.
No, it's not to be expected. what a crazy worldview this person has.
Yeah.
Continuing on, quote, the political climate and leadership of Sheriff Villanueva has only sowed the seeds of anger and frustration in the community. I pray for the deputies and their families while still demanding justice for Andres Guardado, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Ahmaud Arbery. Amititol's social media post made this personal Instagram page private shortly after the image was shared online. Ooh, cowardly, man. The city of Linwood, which is near Compton, issued a statement clarifying that Omatitol's post didn't reflect the city council's thoughts. Well, he's on the city council, and they're his thoughts. So what are you going to do? Quote, there have been comments made today, Sunday, by our city manager on his personal social media that are his personal opinions and don't reflect the position of the Linwood City Council, according to the City of Linwood statement posted on Twitter on Sunday. The city then said that the hardworking families, city employees, and elected officials were sending heartfelt prayers to the families of the deputies and praying for their recovery. It's unclear if the city will take any action against Omatitol, although a petition has been started urging him to resign. Yesterday's shooting was caught on CCTV. The gunman is seen walking up to the police car and firing straight into the vehicle. A still from the video showed the female deputy with what looked like blood on her shirt. According to Fox 8, authorities said the female deputy was shot through jaw, still radioed for help, and applied tourniquet to male deputy's wounds. Wow, what a hero. Police have now released a description of the shooting suspect who fled the scene. He is being described as a male, black, 28 to 30 years old, wearing dark clothing. Police said that he was last seen heading northbound on Willowbrook Avenue in a black four-door sedan. Authorities are also searching for the driver of the sedan, which could be a black Mercedes, My News LA reported. Video taken from the incident showed the enormous police response to the shooting, as well as reactions of crowds of people looking on as sirens blazing. Officers raced to help their wounded colleagues. A bystander narrated the action, saying Compton N-word just aired the police out, and added, that's crazy. Dang, it goes down in Compton. The smiling cameraman also said, it's going up. Somebody bust on their somebody bust on the police, 2 sheriffs shot in the face, 2 sheriffs shot in the face, they tripping. Somebody just ran up on the corner and bust on their butt right through the window. He then concludes grinning, it's a wrap. On Sunday, the Los Angeles Times reported that one of the 2 officers had managed to radio for help. Moments after the gunman ran away, the passenger door of the patrol car opens and a deputy stumbles out, hand on head. The driver's side door opens soon after. On the radio, according to footage reviewed by the paper, a shaky voice mutters 998 Compton Pax. Recognizing the code for a deputy-involved shooting, a dispatcher asked, just happened? Compton Pax, deputies down, the voice says, almost unintelligibly, Compton Pax 998. Let's see. Donald Trump on Sunday said the man who opened fire should face a fast trial death penalty if the deputies die. Speaking at a rally in Nevada on Sunday night, he said, if you murder a police officer, you should receive the death penalty. To loud cheers, he continued, I just saw a video of that animal who went up to the car. They were unsuspecting, fine people, very fine people. He earlier called the shooter an animal who needed to be hit hard as the FBI was called in to help investigate. The president tweeted, if they die, fast trial death penalty for the killer, only way to stop this. He had retweeted his son, Donald Jr., who shared the footage, writing, please pray for these sheriff deputies. Yeah, I'm going to stop. The rest of this article, and they have a lot more, it's just talking about tweets people had and just repeating information. So unless you have something you want to add there, I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah, there wasn't anything ridiculous other than some of the response. As expected, some people were saying, I think there was video of a guy yelling in front of the hospital, like, we hope you die, like to the cops that are being carried in and stuff like that.
Well, and there's the story about protesters blocking the road to the hospital.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah, so not good. And as far as this city manager, This is probably an issue, and I found that image of the skull, Nazi skull.
You found it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks more like an Iron Maiden cover than anything else. It's like a cartoony.
Oh, that's a very intricate tattoo they're all getting. Oh, I thought it was going to be like a little symbol,
like a logo, right? But
yeah,
this is more. Again, looks more like an Iron Maiden cover than.
What's the Nazi imagery in it?
I didn't see one.
I'm looking at it. It's got an AK-47. I'm trying to see what the actual Nazi imagery. Maybe the helmet.
Maybe I don't know.
Huh.
I know that there was an issue with corrupt cops and gangs and stuff like that, but I didn't know that it was a Nazi thing, and maybe that's part of the not the fake part of the news per se, but just the part where they're just twisting around some things to make it seem like it's something that it's not.
I mean, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Either way, I mean, it's not that cool for cops to be having a secret gang called the Executioners. That's just not a good look.
No, not a good look.
Whether or not it is a racist thing, which it may very well be, but either way, our cops we should not have internal gangs in the police department or the sheriff's department.
The other issue, though, is, we don't know. We don't have enough information, but these two cops that were actually shot, we have no idea if they were actually involved in this group or not.
At least not. Well, they wouldn't be, because one was a woman, and allegedly women are not allowed in the gang. So, but this, of course, the person committing the shooting wouldn't necessarily know that, or it probably wouldn't even really take it into consideration.
I think it was an opportunity to, pop some police, and
yeah, right.
They took the opportunity to do
get
that.
Some street cred.
Yeah, street cred, whatever it is. But yeah, I was pretty disturbed to see some of the responses on Twitter, people saying like, "Oh, glad to see it" and stuff like that. It's like, why? Why are you glad to see police getting shot? Like, what is your problem?
It's this this mania. This anti-police mania. I mean, it's, of course, I think we're all on the same page. There needs to be some real, things need to tighten up in the department.
Sure, roll out the RoboCops.
We need to get the bad cops out. We need to, they need to be criminally prosecuted if that's what they deserve. There needs to be better training, needs to be better vetting, maybe, needs to be more consequences for bad cops. All that needs to happen. But yeah, to celebrate the killing of two deputies
they lived, so not a killing, but
yes, okay, yeah. Good point. But this just works back into the Civil War issue, man.
I know.
All this violence is not good. I'm actually getting a little bit squirmy about this, a little bit more squirmy about the violence, because this is exactly what somebody wants. Somebody wants all this chaos and violence.
Of course.
Because it's a good time to a power vacuum is a great opportunity for control. I'm getting a little squirmy, man.
Little Bolshevik revolution-esque situation happening in this country.
Yeah.
And the second story we had about the
race war. I've warned you and warned you and warned you.
This is news.yahoo.com. Riots erupt in Lancaster after police shoot man wielding knife. And this was another one of those situations where stuff got pretty out of hand with the riots. Riots erupted in Lancaster, Pennsylvania on Sunday after a police officer fatally shot a man armed with a knife, police said. The officer was responding to a call that 27-year-old Ricardo Munoz was becoming aggressive with his mother and was attempting to break into her house. The Lancaster City Bureau of Police said. After the officer responded to a call at 4:15 p.m., body cam footage released by the department shows a woman fleeing the house while Munoz is yelling inside. The district's attorney's office said in a statement. The video then shows Munoz running out of the house holding a knife before the officer shoots him several times and the 27-year-old falls to the ground. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The officer has been placed on leave, according to a statement from Lancaster Mayor Tyranny-Soros, and the district attorney's office said the shooting is under investigation to determine if the officer's use of force was justified. People assembled outside a police station after the shooting with some damaging of police vehicle and others throwing bricks. Rioters also threw glass bottles, gallon jugs filled with liquid, and parts of plastic road barricades at officers. Officers used tear gas and rubber bullets to break up the crowd after demonstrators, quote, failed to follow the instructions. Quote, a police-involved shooting has significant impact on a community, as we are seeing with the large number of individuals gathering in the street. District Attorney Heather Adams said Sunday night, quote, we ask that acts of protest remain peaceful, as violence and destruction of property will become headlines and serve no purpose for the safety and well-being of our citizens and neighborhoods. And you know, it's interesting. This article doesn't, obviously Yahoo, your new love, but I'm going to push back on that a little bit. This
my
man,
old love, they've lost a little bit of my love lately.
It was a small little bump, but right back down. But yeah, did you watch the footage, the body cam footage of Ricardo Munoz?
Is that the one? No, show it on the screen. Let me see if I saw it. I recently saw something.
Yeah, I mean,
is it the nighttime one?
No, it's during the day. He comes
out.
out.
I have not seen it.
He comes out of the house, and I mean, he looks kind of nuts. He's holding. You clearly see the knife, and you see the officer pull out his gun, and a few shots, and he's down. Now, here's the thing that was not being reported because it's not a good look for the people that are saying this is part of the BLM narrative and everything else. The first thing I saw on social media was that a 14-year-old autistic boy was shot by the police. And you had all these people
talking about this guy.
Yeah. You had all these people. Oh, I can't believe these. That's ridiculous. What if that was my son, my child? And man, it's like, whoa, chill out. First off, that's not true. But also, really, you're I don't know about you, but if you have an autistic child, is the child capable of being a felon already for stabbing 4 people and then coming after the cop like this with a knife on video? Right. Just take it easy, take it easy with the sympathy with all this stuff. But people are just being baited into all kinds of things like that.
Brainwashing, man.
It's insane.
Wild.
It is insane. It is
NSA style hybrid war psyops.
It's really hitting a crazy pitch of like, it doesn't matter at all what the details are, even if it is a wild, sort of violent person, suspect, whatever. It's like, the unfortunate thing is it's all kind of playing into this anti-gun thing.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, we forget about that because it hasn't been on the forefront of people's discussions, this year, but they've kept that narrative up. And if they can disarm us as a country in the United States here, then it's going to be a lot easier to do the kind of things that we saw or have been seeing in Australia of, people coming into your house and arresting you for posting something on Facebook. And that kind of sentiment will become much more pervasive.
Yeah. What a crazy doublespeak. Also, I've just watched a couple more videos of Australians getting rousted for nothing. And, it's this doublespeak from, the I would say mainly the left side, but I think everybody's kind of affected by it in different ways. And just if you're new to the show, just so you know, we do our best to step outside of the left-right paradigm. It's not about red or blue, not about liberal, conservative. If you get caught up in that paradigm, that's the first step to the brainwashing, is having you identify with a certain side. So, we take all of our stances from outside of that paradigm, which kind of ruffles some feathers, but that's on you. That's not on us. If you're that ruffled by us not calling ourselves, left or right or conservative or liberal or whatever, then that's just the brainwashing tickling your brain. Now, of course, as you listen to us, we fall mainly, we're conservative about a lot of things, but anyways, we're trying to step out. So the doublespeak that I'm talking about is the left will cheer for an Australian pregnant woman getting rousted by the cops in her own home for posting a Facebook post about politics, and take her to jail and do all this stuff. They'll cheer for that. And then when a crazy knife-wielding stab man, gets neutralized by law enforcement, suddenly that's like this huge hate crime. Yeah. It's just this crazy doublespeak, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills all the time. But that's the brainwashing at work, man.
It's pretty out of control, and we knew it was going to happen, but man, they've really turned it up this year. As this type of thing, anytime a police officer kills somebody in defense is now being, at least an attempt.
It's a hate crime.
Yeah, to make the rounds for some kind of protesting and whatever. And it's kind of funny. There was footage of people protesting this event in, where was it? It was in Lancaster, and there were some people banging on the doors of the police station there, and man, it was like it was just kind of like, bro, chill out. There's something wrong. Madness. They're just so intense about taking down this door, and like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna run into the police station that people trained with firearms? Like, what does that accomplish?
That's exactly right. The point you're making is there is no plan. There's no plan. It's just pure reactionism. It's the mind control, taking control of the body is what it is. Because it's one thing to have these ideas floating around your head.
Yeah.
It's another thing for it to make it all the way through your logical systems in your brain and manifest with your body making crazy decisions.
Yeah.
And that's, you don't think about it that way that much, but that's really what it is. The mind control is intensifying so much that it's being acted upon.
Yeah.
And that's called radicalization.
And yeah, for sure. And we're aware. I think you and I, both of us, Basil, are aware of the problem with police brutality.
Yeah,
it is a true thing. It is a real problem.
And agree. And a lot of things need to be done. There needs to be a lot of work done in law enforcement in America. Yeah, we've known that for a long time.
So it's not that we're like super pro police or whatever. I mean, I've been pulled over. And, I had my dogs in the car, and the cops like threatened to shoot my dogs if they don't stop barking. And I can't control the dogs barking.
So
and I've had stuff like that happen. So I get it. Some of these guys abuse some of their authority, and it's fine. It's not fine, but I mean, it happens. We get it. But in a situation where, and we've brought this up before, in a moment where it's either the cop gets killed, or they have an opportunity to defend themselves. The people they're trained to do that. They're trained to defend, and maybe their judgment is lapsed at sometimes. But it's a tough thing to say that for sure that they're all just corrupt. They're all just out to get you, especially if you're an African American in this country. They're all just out to shoot you. It's just not true. That part of it is just not true. And so I think it's just important to point out these discrepancies and stay on that narrow path, because
mind control intensifies.
And as it does, we need to stay as grounded as possible here. So
yeah,
I think that's
Lance in the chat in YouTube said the London Bridge attacker was taken down with a narwhal tusk.
What?
I have no idea what story that is, but it sounds awesome.
I'm going to look it up.
I don't know. We might have to look that up. Yeah. London Bridge attacker, narwhal tusk. See what's going on there. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, it's an old story. It looks like 2019.
I remember the London Bridge attacker, a guy running around with a machete or something.
Oh my gosh, that is... All right, let me move this into view here. This is a New York Post article from 2019 of that story. He's got a tusk. There's a picture. The headline here reads, London Bridge hero used narwhal tusk to help stop attacker. Let me see if I can scroll down to the picture, or is it just a video?
That's what happens, man, when you don't have a Second Amendment in your country. People will make do.
Well, I don't think I could pull it up at this very moment, but look it up if you're curious. It's definitely like a spear.
The Google Analytics for narwhal is gonna shoot up for a moment.
As people revisit this story. Okay, let's move on here. We have a real. This is one of our main stories here about the New World Order.
a new world order can emerge.
Now, I want to, I'll start this off if you don't mind, Guns. So, part of what we do on this show, part of the goal of this show, it may seem crazy, but we have a mission. Part of that mission is helping people fully understand the perception of, a normal human being looking at someone who has woken up, and how to communicate with normies. And, part of communicating is understanding the worldview and the data that a normie may be working with. You really can't have a good conversation without having that previous understanding, and they're not going to have that previous understanding of you. So it's up to you as the woke person to come a little bit more equipped to a conversation. And so this is from Forbes.com. And the title of the headline is "The Troubling Truth About the Obsession with George Soros." All right. Obviously, most people listening to this show will have some sort of idea about who George Soros is and sort of the problematic nature of him. So we're going to go through this and then do a little segment just to catch everybody up and kind of try to separate the threads of what's going on here. The troubling truth about the obsession with George Soros. The internet has once again exploded with a surge of social media posts about George Soros, with far-right activists and QAnon conspiracy theorists posting wildly imaginative claims related to the billionaire philanthropist. But behind the spectacle of paranoid outrage, there is a troubling and undeniable truth about the constant attacks on George Soros, anti-Semitism. The Hungarian-born financier, whose philanthropic organization Open Society Foundations support freedom and democracy initiatives in over 100 countries around the world, is frequently accused of being a mastermind of international conspiracies. The countless unfounded claims against the successful Jewish businessman could fill books. It does fill books. It could fill books. All without any evidence of their truth. Well, we'll get into that. In fact, the overheated political environment of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, they continue to grow. A cursory read of conservative and far-right media would have you believe that Soros and his funding is behind Antifa, Black Lives Matter, violent protests, illegal immigration, fraudulent voting schemes, and a myriad of other radical conspiracy theories. Point of personal privilege, Gons. Mm-hmm. You don't have a myriad of something. You have myriad of something. So, come on. Yeah. So, gotcha.
So grammar alert.
Course, yes. And of course, his detractors fume at his funding of Democratic causes and candidates in state and federal elections across the country. The most recent anti-Soros flare-up appears to stem from an article in the conservative media outlet The Free Beacon. The controversy is focused on activities related to Soros's Democracy Alliance donor network, which supports progressive candidates and causes, and in particular, the network's affiliated Strategic Victory Fund, a political action committee. The PAC, like similar initiatives on the conservative side of the political spectrum, some whataboutism there. Well, what about the conservatives? They have PACs. Okay. Seeks to influence voters through a range of educational and engagement tactics on the state level. I like the word tactics there. Mm-hmm. It's really got sort of a military flair. The fierce attacks on Soros come not only from conservative activists and media. He is frequently the target of conservative and Republican political leaders, including President Trump, who has used his Twitter account to make baseless claims against the financier. Soros has been called a Nazi by some of the president's supporters. We'll get into that in a second. A claim retweeted by the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., and even referred to as the Antichrist by Trump's longtime advisor, Rudy Giuliani. Wow, I didn't know Rudy was onto that.
Rudy.
Oh, no. The emergence of QAnon has also added fuel to the anti-Soros fire with unfounded claims that Soros, as a, quote, globalist, is behind an international network of pedophiles and others who seek to defeat President Trump. I like how it's a network of pedophiles and those who seek to defeat President Trump. The viral nature of QAnon and its conspiracy-minded followers is increasing the spread of misinformation and fear about Soros at an exponential rate. So, if it isn't facts that are driving the animosity towards Soros, what is it? Anti-Semitism, plain and simple. Soros's critics barely hide their anti-Semitism anymore, frequently posting images of him with grossly distorted anti-Semitic features. The attacks also frequently reference directly and indirectly long-standing anti-Semitic theories from texts such as the Elders of Zion that claim Jews are running an international cabal. The most perverse attacks on Soros relate to fraudulent claims that he was a Nazi or Nazi sympathizer. In fact, Soros's family escaped persecution from the Nazis, who killed over 500,000 Hungarian Jews during the World War II. Keep that whole section in mind, because it is, I can't tell if it's on purpose, but it's not the whole truth. What is most troubling, perhaps, about the attacks on Soros is that they also reflect a growing wave of anti-Semitism in America and around the world. The Anti-Defamation League has called Soros conspiracy theories a gateway to anti-Semitism and noted the explosion of anti-Soros sentiment in the wake of the George Floyd protest. The report also detailed a litany of anti-Soros pundits and provocateurs who traffic in false claims and inflammatory rhetoric by giving oxygen to anti-Soros theories. These pundits not only do a disservice to the truth, but they fuel anti-Semitic hate and violence that is beginning to reach worrisome levels of pervasiveness in America. Without question, there is a place for disagreement with any one individual's politics, and Soros should not be immune to criticism, but the animosity against Soros goes far beyond criticism of any other billionaire funder of political efforts. And perhaps, I don't know about that.
I know, like what? Okay. All right, keep going.
I really don't think it does go far beyond any other billionaire funder of political efforts, but moving on. And perhaps beyond all of them put together. Oh. The truth is, there is only one sordid reason for why attacks on George Soros are constantly trending, and it is not because of his money or of his politics. It is because he is Jewish. No, I think it's because of his money and his politics.
I think so too.
I don't think it's because he's Jewish.
No, I really don't. You know what's funny? I didn't even know he was Jewish until like much later into, I knew about Soros. And
same here. I knew about Soros before I knew he was a Jewish person.
Yeah. And we understand also that Soros is not like the tip of the spear when it comes to every new world order. He's just one of these players out there. That being said, yeah, this tries to pin all of the criticism to anti-Semitism, which is very strange, not surprising coming from Forbes.
Well, it's just a part of the plan to call everything racist.
Yeah,
it's just part of that trend.
It's kind of the OG thing, before the whole BLM thing really became more of the mainstream center of attention. In this country, in the last century anyway, it was anti-Semitism
and it's also creating a false narrative or a logical fallacy, sort of a straw man argument, equating Jewish people with Soros, because there is that's a false equivalency.
I know.
No, anyways, it's you don't not like Soros because he's Jewish and therefore not like all Jews. You can love everybody and love Jews and still not like Soros.
Soros could be from Nippon and we would hate him equally.
then that means you would hate all Japanese people. Gons.
Exactly. Yes, that's where I'm coming at.
All right. So there was a couple individual pieces of information, and they're really sort of seminal pieces of information for understanding who George Soros is. Oh man, I didn't highlight it. Let me kind of cruise by here. Let me see, which clip did we have first in the document?
We actually, well, first off, we have the Hungary thing.
Yeah,
do you want to mention that?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So, here it is. Soros has been called a Nazi by some of the president's supporters, a claim retweeted by the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., and even referred to as the Antichrist. But I want to specifically take the Nazi sympathizer aspect of him. So let's start there. Now, one of the points of conversation for those who question Soros's authority or power in the world is that he was a Nazi sympathizer in Hungary. And in fact, another part of that is that he is banned from Hungary. Now, there's a couple of points we are going to straighten out here. Let's start with the Nazi one, Gons.
Okay, so this is an interview that I think this is on Dinesh D'Souza's channel. George Soros, the chief financial supporter of Antifa, was himself a Nazi collaborator, and to this day has no regrets. Watch. I think this is from somebody mentioned it in the chat there. It was an old either 60 minutes or something like that. It's a couple minutes long. We'll play it. Hopefully you can hear it. But this is an interview with George Soros being asked about his youth during the whole Nazi takeover.
You're a Hungarian Jew who escaped the Holocaust by posing as a Christian.
Right.
And you watched lots of people get shipped off to the death camps.
Right. I was 14 years old. And I would say that that's when my character was made.
In what way?
That one should think ahead, one should understand and anticipate events, and one is threatened. It was a tremendous threat of evil. I mean, it was a very personal experience of evil.
My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes, yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe as a child you don't see the connection, but it created no problem at all.
No feeling of guilt.
No.
For example, that I'm Jewish, and here I am watching these people go. I could just as easily be there. I should be there. None of that.
Well, of course, I could be on the other side, or I could be the one from whom the thing is being taken away. But there was no sense that I shouldn't be there, because that was... well, actually, funny way, it's just like in markets, that if I weren't there, of course I wasn't doing it, but somebody else would be taking it away anyhow. And it was whether I was there or not, I was only a spectator, the property was being taken away. So I had no role in taking away that property. So I had no sense of guilt.
There you go. No sense of guilt.
Yeah.
And, anytime...
So just to clarify... sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Clarify.
I was just going to clarify for those, just to understand what you heard. So in Soros's childhood during World War II, he was the Jews in Hungary were getting rounded up and treated like Jews in World War II. Horrible situation. But he posed as a Christian and convinced the Nazis that he was okay. He was not a Jew. And so he was actually a part of these what's the word I'm looking for? These not
Gestapo?
gangs, these squads. Yeah, you basically traveled with Gestapo squads. I don't know if he was in Gestapo proper,
Right.
But and of course he was wearing a brown shirt. He was in the crowd, going from Jewish home to Jewish home, confiscating property. Really weird. He says no guilt about that.
No guilt.
Sense. He said specifically there was no sense I shouldn't be there, which is like, well, that's weird. You should definitely feel like you shouldn't be there. You should definitely feel guilty about this. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
To just like be an unfeeling robot watching your people get robbed by fascist government. So that's weird. But yeah, so he's 14 years old. He's sort of inducted into this squad of Nazis robbing Jews, basically. And his defense of this is like, I did not take part. I didn't actually help take stuff. I was just there watching it, which if you really break it down is, what he's trying to say is I didn't help carry the couch. I didn't physically grab something from the house and take it out, which I kind of, maybe that's true, maybe not. I kind of have a hard time that these squads, these looting squads, Nazi looting squads, would just let a 14-year-old kid stand there and not help carry furniture or something. But okay, let's just take him at his word that he didn't physically take anything out of any houses. That does not mean you're innocent. I mean, by any legal standard. Now, of course, let's give it to him. He was doing what he had to do to survive. But that is where the Nazi sympathizer label, comes from. And he's had to deal with this for a while. People have known this is not new information necessarily.
No.
So that's where the Nazi sympathizer thing comes from, where he was literally wearing a brown shirt, looting the homes of Jews, or spectating. Apparently, in his words, he was spectating the looting of the homes of Jews, which. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's weird. You probably shouldn't say you don't feel guilty. You probably shouldn't say you had no sense you shouldn't be there. It's all just kind of a weird sort of character quirk that, of course, you start saying you don't feel guilty for participating in Nazi looting squads. Of course, people are going to call you a Nazi sympathizer. That should not come as a surprise.
Well,
did he have to do it to survive? Probably.
Yeah, probably. But also to have no sense of guilt is very bizarre.
Yeah, what are you talking about? No sense of guilt.
And I think his little analogy is what kind of gives away his, I'm gonna borderline say like sociopathic, like psychotic way of like internalizing this, is when he said, "Oh, it's funny. It's like the markets." Like
right.
What? What are you talking? Yeah. If I weren't there, if I wasn't doing it, somebody, what does he say? Somebody else would be taking it anyway.
Which is a classic billionaire psychosis.
Yeah.
I can be evil. I can not care about people. I can care only about money and not care how this affects people, because if I didn't do it, somebody else would. Classic billionaire psychosis. And arguably, I don't think you can become a billionaire without that sort of psychosis.
Yeah. I mean, the way everything has been structured in this world, you just got to go into your Bible, go into Matthew, go into the desert. The devil offers the kingdoms of the world for worship. And the worship of the devil isn't necessarily like a theistic thing. It's a worship of the self. And this type of mentality reflects that Antichrist spirit. So, he doesn't have to be, again, we're not saying, I don't know. We're not necessarily saying the Soros has some kind of satanic altar at his house, sacrificing babies or something. But, you don't have to have that. The way our fallen nature works, and a lot of the craziness that comes from climbing to the stratosphere of this world requires you to step on people to get up there. So you have to have this.
You can't become a billionaire without, in some way causing, not even causing, just not caring about other human beings. And now just to frame this for everybody, we're trying to take a logical look at the actual evidence of what's going on. Okay. So, I don't know if somebody wants to report us or ban us or something. All we're doing is taking the words from Soros's mouth himself, not adding anything, not subtracting anything, just taking the hard evidence here.
Right.
And then, that's up to whoever's listening if they want to extend that past the evidence.
Right.
Okay. So next, what's the next clip?
The next, we have the other part.
Do the Hungary one. The actual, because the other thing about Soros, interesting detail that is often quoted is that he's banned from his home country of Hungary.
Right.
Which is suspicious. Why would you get banned from your own country? And this is after he became a billionaire. Part of the problem people have with Soros is how much,
influence.
Influence is a nicer word. How much influence he's exercising over politics and politically connected movements, and which allegedly the comment is that he's been banned from Hungary because of that sort of influence.
Right.
Now let's go into the clip, I guess.
So it's not a clip, but this is a NPR.org article from 2018, June 20th.
All right. Yes,
the headline,
and just real quick again, we're reading it from NPR because of course you can get a crazy blog or some sort of whatever far right outlet. The point is better made when you take it straight from a place like NPR,
a mainstream outlet. Yeah.
Hungary
passes Stop Soros laws, bans aid to undocumented immigrants. And it says here, Hungary's parliament passed a series of laws on Wednesday criminalizing the act of aiding undocumented immigrants seeking asylum in the country, despite strong objections from leading European rights bodies. The suite of bills called Stop Soros, they named it Stop Soros.
The bill is called Stop Soros.
Allow the government to imprison individuals in non-governmental organizations for up to a year if they are deemed to be facilitating what it says is illegal immigration by people not entitled to protections, the BBC reported. A separate amendment to the Constitution declared that an, quote, alien population cannot be settled in Hungary. So, kind of a nationalist bill there. But it says here, the Hungarian people rightfully...
Oh, God forbid a country wants to actually,
preserve,
exist and have borders and have some sort of control of what's going on in their country.
Yeah, so this is Interior Minister Sander Pinter wrote, according to The Guardian, the Hungarian people rightfully expects the government to use all means necessary to combat illegal immigration and the activities that aid it. The Stop Soros package of bills serves that goal, making the organization of illegal immigration a criminal offense. We want to use the bill to stop Hungary from becoming a country of immigrants. And so there you go. I mean, this we don't have to get too deep into it, but again, this isn't some crazy right-wing QAnon conspiracy theory right off of NPR reporting the Stop Soros laws from Hungary. So yeah, not crazy conspiracy theory. Forbes guy.
Yeah.
But,
so whether or not he is actually banned from going
like
to
physically
the country,
going,
he is literally banned by a bill says Stop Soros. He's banned from having financial influence over political issues in Hungary.
Right. So that's the second,
which just isn't good. It's not a good look.
No. Yeah, anytime a bill has ban or stop and your name in it, not a great look.
It reminds me of like the Italian Parliament, standing up and railing against Bill Gates.
Yeah. It's wild how all the fringes have gone mainstream. Both ends. The last thing we have here, this is from kind of one of those more I guess, right wing or whatever blogs here. Newspunch.com. George Soros announces China must lead the New World Order.
Oh,
and I love this clip. This is it's just one of those clips that, you know, we're not going to read the article. I'm just going to play the clip because it it makes me I don't know. It's just one of those funny clips that the people I want to play this clip for this guy who wrote the article in Forbes. You know, like the Seth Cohen guy. Like, what do you think about this? You know, so here you go. Because you know the whole idea is, oh, there's no New World Order. It's all conspiracy theory. You know, but here we go.
No, I think this would be the time because you really need to bring China into the creation of a new world order, financial world order.
There you go. There you go.
Classic.
We really need to bring China into the forefront of a creation of a new world order.
New world order. Yeah. So there you go. This is straight from the mouth of Soros. Yep. We're not, you know, this is barely conspiracy theory. It is not conspiracy theory. We're playing clips from Soros himself talking about how he had no guilt joining the Nazi looting squads and how he wants to, you know, bring China to the forefront of the New World Order. So there you go. We're no conjecture. We're just playing the clips.
We're just playing the clips of Tyranny-Soros Rex.
Tyranny-Soros. I bet Soros has a great T-Rex impression.
Oh, he probably does. All those guys. Kissinger.
He's got the voice for it.
They all. I want to be like a.
Not to mention they're already lizard people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to sit in a room, you know, be one of the drink servers at a meeting between like all these elite guys, you know, they're all sitting around just grunting, you know, and saying New World Order. It would just be fantastic.
Yeah. That'd be great. All right.
There you go.
There you go. Anything else on this guy?
Not really, other than
I mean, there is a lot more on him.
Well, there's a lot more, yeah.
Like I said, and there is a real conversation that if you're waking up and seeing this sort of elite influence, there's a real conversation about how to go about exploring guys like Soros, because there certainly are a number of things being said about this guy, and it's just best to have the clips, best to have the documents, have the clips, have the documents, have the bills, have the evidence. You don't even need to extend the conspiracy theory any farther than what he says out of his own mouth, and there's more in relation to his support of Black Lives Matter and his goals there and all over the place, but we don't even need to get into that. Just as you explore this thing, remember, the second you say George Soros, they're going to start screaming anti-Semitism. And remember, we got all these links in the show notes of canarycrynewstalk.com. And they might just be good links to have around if you ever get into a conversation about George Soros.
Yep. And for further homework, if anybody really wants to dig in, look at where the Open Society Foundation, his philanthropic organization, look at where he has actually funded what kind of groups, what kind of movements all over the world, and you'll get a better idea of what type of worldview Soros is supporting, and sometimes supporting both sides of things too. It's really interesting when you start looking at it. You see, sides that would basically, or from the public view, would be, opposite ends of an issue or something. Sometimes he gets both sides. So very interesting to keep that in mind. But let's move on from the dinosaur and the lizard person.
The lizard people. Look it up.
Look it up.
All right. What else you got?
Look it up.
We have I have this jingle because it's not really Chinese news. It's actually Japanese news.
From what I see in Japan, we are seeing a lot of negative news.
A lot of negative news from Japan. I could do that.
I had no idea what that was saying for so long.
You want to hear it again?
A lot, yes. Play it again.
From what I see in Japan, we are seeing a lot of negative news.
A lot. There's no L in Japanese, so a lot.
A lot of negative news. Got it. Okay. Yeah. What do we got?
This is Asia.Nikkei.com. Sugar. vows to tackle pandemic and digitize government. If you didn't know, the Prime Minister Abe stepped down a few weeks ago, and the Japan has a new prime minister. And some of his ideas are kind of... Tokyo, fresh from his anointment as president of Japan's ruling party, Yoshihide Suga vowed Monday to focus on tackling the coronavirus pandemic and the nation's economic woes rather than calling a snap election. Quote, "I want to do work, not elections," Japanese Prime Minister in waiting told reporters in Tokyo a few hours after his widely expected landslide victory in a Liberal Democratic Party vote. Quote, "What people are asking us to do is bring the coronavirus under control and get the economy back on its feet." Some big hitters in the LDP, including Finance Minister Taro Aso, and Defense Minister Taro Kono. I don't know why they're all named Taro. Kono have recently hinted at an early election. The cabinet has had a high approval rating since Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's sudden resignation last month, and the main opposition party only last week merged to form a political bloc. Suga, who is set to be elected prime minister in a special parliamentary session on Wednesday, said he would put reformers in his government rather than trying to please the factions within the 65-year-old ruling party. He hinted at the possibility of sweeping cabinet reshuffle. Quote, "I will choose people who are eager to reform and capable of getting things done," Suga said. Quote, "I will appoint people who share my policy goals. We have a responsibility to get things done for people in this country." He said he will push ahead with deregulation and put an end to ministry sectionalism, vested interests, and the practice of blindly following past precedents. As part of this plan, he said he sought to bring Japan up to speed with Asian neighbors on digitization. Mm-hmm. Quote, "My goal is to allow people to receive government services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as they have the My Number Social Security card," Suga said. Mm-hmm. Interesting. There are a lot of old people in Japan, so I don't know how much they're going to be stoked about that. But Suga, a 71-year-old 8th-term lower house member, is a well-known policy wonk. He has said he is eager to reorganize the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, cut mobile phone bills, and consolidate regional banks after becoming Japan's prime minister. Based on his track record as chief cabinet secretary, who is in charge of coordinating government policy, and minister for internal affairs and communications, which is in charge of telecommunications policy, Suga is a reformist. But some of his views are worrying to government bigwigs and industry leaders, setting the stage for a long slog, if not outright pushback. Quote, "Many of the policies that have failed to advance smoothly involve multiple government offices," Suga has said, hinting at the use of political clout to force government ministries and agencies to end their isolation from each other. This remark seems directed at reorganizing the health ministry, which has often been criticized for delays in dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. Hegelian dialectic there. The health ministry is having problems coordinating with other relevant ministries, the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry, to alleviate the shortage of medical materials, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology, which oversees university hospitals, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, in charge of connecting with local municipalities. Furthermore, experts claim the health ministry has been too cautious about expanding virus tests, with even Abe showing his impatience. The ministry, which receives 1/3 of the government's general account budget, has faced reorganization plans in the past. Over a decade ago, when the ministry was under fire regarding a pension scandal, reform plans were floated. The ministry's domain covers a huge swath of society, resulting in its minister's voice being heard in the Diet, quote, "overwhelmingly more frequently than other cabinet ministers," according to Suga in 2018, a slapdown that highlighted the ministry's growing presence. Suga has already said he is open to reorganizing the ministry as part of a review of government response to the pandemic after the pandemic is contained. Then it gets into a couple other issues here, and then let me go to a couple other points here. Suga has also stressed the need for lowering rates for large volume users of, I think this is communication. This is about 5G, because he wants to cut rates and eat into revenue needed to invest in 5G. And so he wants to sort of redistribute the money there. Officials in the communications ministry see problematic contracts in the market, such as bundling residential internet access with mobile services, making it difficult for consumers to cancel contracts. To cut rates, Suga will likely speed the elimination of these service plans designed to corral customers. On the financial front, Suga is set to call for regional banks to merge. These smaller banks have been battling with a sluggish domestic economy and ultra-low interest rates. Suga said on September 2nd, there may be, quote, too many regional banks for the future, adding that bank consolidation is an option. This view has gained support of the financial service agency, Japan's governmental financial watchdog, which also wants to accelerate regional bank mergers. A special law will take effect in November that exempts regional banks from certain antitrust rules, a move designed to fast-track consolidations. Suga was a key player in passing the law, coordinating efforts between the FSA and the Japan Fair Trade Commission to make this happen, but it's still too early to see if these efforts will push more banks to consolidate, as one senior FSA official said, quote, the final decisions are up to the management of each bank, and in light of the fierce competition between competing regional financial institutions, it may take more than relaxed regulations to have banks integrate. So there you go, some change in leadership in Japan. A lot of planning that surrounds digitization of government, which is part of the economic reset, I'm sure. And anytime you hear about consolidation of banks, I don't think it's a good sign for the economy. But also, I think this is going to bring Japan, if his plans go into effect here, this is going to push Japan into this hyper New World Order technocracy thing that they've been prepping culturally for a long time, but the governments have kind of been sluggish in really implementing a lot of it at the sort of judicial level. I think we're going to see a lot more of that as this guy takes charge. And keep in mind that Warren Buffett recently took out all the money from U.S. companies and he put it into gold mining stocks and he put it into Japan. So he moved all of his big money to Japan. So I think they're expecting a kind of economic boom in Japan, obviously being suppressed since the 80s. There's no population growth in Japan, so I don't know what else it would be other than a robot takeover. Let's fund all the robots that are going to take over the streets of Japan. So very interesting, the idea of digitizing government and using the pandemic as the launching springboard to launch into that end. So something to keep an eye on. Obviously, I have a vested interest being my ethnic home country, but
sure. And I think everybody has a vested interest because this is something we see a trend towards globally. But Japan just being kind of in the sweet spot of being small enough and consolidated enough to be able to pull this off before anybody else,
Yeah.
With this sort of spirit of rising from the ashes, of the pandemic. And, if anybody could pull it off first, it would be Japan versus, like China, who has more control over their people, but there's like 1 billion people.
There's a lot more people.
Japan has a relatively small population, and most of them are older, which means most of them are sort of less radical.
Right.
Yeah. It's sort of there's still some pride in their government and things like that a lot of other countries struggle with a younger population.
And just keep in mind, as you become a mech guy, we reported a few weeks ago about the giant 60-foot Japanese robot taking its first step, the giant Gundam. So my whole goal here, if you get past some barriers and milestones and you have your mech, I'm going to fly to Japan. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to be the Gundam operator and we will fight.
That thing's so slow, man. You can't.
But he's huge. He will step on you like a bug. And he can fly into alleged space
and have a laser sword.
Yeah,
he's cool.
He's going to destroy your little tusks.
Yeah. So, okay, there you go.
Yep, there you go.
Some updates. It's really kind of a New World Order beast system kind of update, but getting started in good old Japan.
Yep.
So you'll see on our notes, Gons, I kind of moved some things around because of time.
Yes, thank you.
So I think we should take a quick break. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because some big news regarding the TikTok problem going on after this. And I'll go into it again, but remember, TikTok, owned by the Chinese government, mining American data, sending it overseas. Why is this a big deal for you TikTokers? Why should they even care? Why does the president care? We're going to be talking all about that. It's a commodity. Your data is as good as oil. It's a national commodity. But a lot of really big news about the TikTok stuff. So we'll talk about that after the break. Don't go anywhere. But first, we want to thank some people. We'll start out with thanking some of our new Twitch followers. Gons, it's a short list. So you got your dinger ready?
Dinger is prepared.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank Robert D92. Thank you, Robert. Nova Boy.
Ooh, I grew up on the Novas.
Lisa's Wondering. Oh, well, you're in the right place, Lisa. Yield Man.
Like yield farming? Pretty wild right now.
Dr. Manuscript.
All right.
It kind of draws allusions to Dr. Kaczynski. Unabomber manuscript, man. I don't know. I'm just connecting. Sorry, Dr. Manuscript, for connecting you to that. Dupsy1. And that is it. That is all of our new Twitch followers. Thank you guys very much for the follow. Next, we want to thank some of our producers, Gonzo.
Yes, we will do that.
And let's do it. Now, if you're new to the show, let me tell you how we operate around here. We operate on the value for value model. You'll notice we don't do any advertising. We don't do any product placement, at least not on purpose. We're not getting paid by any big corporations to do this show. And that's actually on purpose. We've mentioned over the years, we've gotten some pretty big offers for advertising on the show, but we just had to turn them down because it just doesn't feel right. The advertising model is a poison. It's a toxin in the world here, and let me tell you why. When you take money from a corporation to advertise on your show, you are then pressured to be what's called brand friendly. And I gotta say, Gon's talking about the truth, the real evidence of George Soros is not necessarily brand friendly. No. And when you start taking money from corporations, there's an integrity issue. You're then pressured to, talk about things that reflect nicely on that brand. You can't say certain things, can't talk about certain things without being at risk of losing your support from the corporation. And this, unfortunately, we've seen over the years, in many different aspects of whether it's podcasting, YouTubing, whatever. If you go off script, you'll lose your money. So it influences the influencers to pull their punches a little bit and really sort of sacrifice the integrity of their message in order to keep those advertising dollars flowing. It's a pandemic of its own. In its own right, Gons. And we decided long ago that we do not want to be held to corporate interests, and which was a bad business decision, but it's at least we can sleep at night, Gonzo, and that's what it's all about. So instead, we invite listeners, to not become a commodity, whereas with the advertising model, we just got to get more listeners, got to get more. We got to get that number higher so we can get more dollars. Well, instead of that, we try to keep it quality. We get the quality people to stick onto the show. find value in the show. And if you find value in this show whatsoever or what we do, you are invited to become a producer and support the show in a lot of different ways. And that's real. You can put producer on your resume. Give them our email. We will vouch for you. And one of the great ways to become a producer is supporting us financially. And you can do that at patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. And who do we got today? We've got another upgrade on patreon.com/CCNT from Jan. Jan, my goodness. Thank you so much, Jan. Producer Jan has been supporting us for a while. And as I always say, it's hard enough to get new producers to support the show. It's even harder to get people to increase their support once they're a producer. And Jan, you are the best. And a round of applause from the chat today. So thank you, Producer Jan, coming in again.
Thank you, Jan.
I don't know what we would do without you. Next, we have patreon.com/CanaryCryRadio, which is our other show, but you can also support us there. And we have a new producer named Brian. Thank you very much, Brian. Producer Brian. Jan and Brian, thank you for being our Patreon producers for the day. This episode 242, I think. But here's the thing, folks. A lot of people don't like Patreon, and that's okay. We understand. If you don't like Patreon, we got a place for you. We have a home for you, and it's canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
There we go. canarycryradio.com/support. We've got other options, PayPal options, recurring monthly support, or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time donation in any amount you want. And there I go, calling it a donation again. It's producer involvement in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency and all sorts of other fun ways to support the show. Gons, who do we have coming in over there?
All right, so coming in, we have... let's see. First off, we have Jack coming in. Thank you, producer Jack.
Jack.
Very generous.
Generous, Jack.
We also have Spears Desert.
Spears Desert.
Pretty
Thank
awesome.
You very
name.
much, Spears Desert.
Appreciate that, Spears Desert. And then also, I see a lot of people doing cough cough in the chat. I don't know why. Cough cough 33 support dollars from Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle, for the $33 support. Taking it back. Claiming it.
Claiming the number.
Yes, that's right.
And we didn't have any crypto come in, but that is another way you can support us. If you go to canarycryradio.com/support or canarycryradio.com/crypto, you can see what we think of cryptocurrency. It's not any kind of savior thing, but it's another way you can support us.
Just another way.
Another
thing.
Yeah, another thing. We don't have any nights to mention. We didn't have any jingles come in, I don't believe. But another way to help produce the show is with your artwork or jingles, but particularly your artwork.
One art, please.
And we always enjoy people's artwork. And the first one I want to share is from Jocelyn, who is actually the granddaughter of the gentleman who created the People Zoo song that you hear at the end of the show.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
You know the People Zoo song?
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, great song.
Jocelyn gave us this piece of art here for those of you watching. It's a picture of Basil and Gons. Basil's wearing blue, which means he's a Democrat. I'm wearing red. I'm the Republican.
No, don't put that on.
I'm kidding.
Her.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. But it's a picture of both of us. You look like an anime character, Basil, with a cat on your shoulder. And
that's true.
I'm asking you, are you just gonna carry a cat around all the time? And you say
yes. Yes, I am.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Wonderful
thank you
photo.
very much, Jocelyn.
Yes. And then we also have one from J. Vela, prolific
there we go.
artist J. Vela with the style of that only J. Vela can bring in the notebook there. This is a directed energy weapon. And you have the 9/11 there. You got the energy weapons coming down. An angel with a torch, or an angel with a mask with a torch. some satellites beaming down. Tower 7, the whole thing is there.
Yeah.
So it's another
Good
great
stuff.
piece.
Good stuff, Jay Vela.
Jay Vela. And finally, we have, of course, our prolific artist, Allie. That's Gazel and Bonds in the chat. Elon is the name of this piece. And Elon is saying, I like Canary Cry because they like my happy pigs.
Very good. Reference to the Neuralink event that we did a live show on a while back. And this is a great picture of Elon, especially because he's got his lizard person eyeballs.
Yes, very subtle.
Very subtle. He's got his lizard eyeballs, and he's got some little fangs there.
Yes.
So lizard person Elon. Elon Musk likes Canary Cry because we're a fan of his happy pigs. These pigs are happy, I swear. Happy.
I know. Still funny to me.
Allie.
Still funny when he's like, "This is a pig, a normal pig," and then this is a pig with a neural link taken out. Look how happy he is.
Look how happy he is. I like on the stream right now, the viewers will be able to see this, but there's this picture that Allie made of Elon Musk, and then peeking behind the picture, peeking around is George Soros.
Tyranny-Soros Rex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Thank you again to all of our artists.
Yes.
Very fun part of the show.
Did you want to mention real quick about the
producers?
Yeah. I don't think we got a response yet.
We don't. I have it here. We'll wait for the response to our question for the producers.
Perfect.
So the person who is waiting to give us that response, there you go. We'll hit it next show. Let's see here. Is that it? What do we got? I've lost myself in cyber world here.
Yeah, that's typical.
Reviews.
Reviews. Before you do, thank you to That Night Wind, who continues to be the timestamp extraordinaire for all of the timestamps of our stories.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Very important part of the Canary Cry
know.
ecosphere. I don't know if we give That Night Wind enough credit. I don't know if they feel how grateful we are, but it really is a huge help. That Night Wind, you are the man or woman. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for the timestamps. And if you share this episode, or even if you just want to come back to it, That Night Wind gives us timestamps that you can click on YouTube that'll take you directly to a topic that you want to hear. So you don't have to scroll around all of the nonsense and the Tyranny-Soros Rex sounds and my great raptor impressions. You can just go directly to the topic that you want to hear. Makes it easy to share on social media or with friends. That Night Wind, thank you very much.
All right.
Next, we got some reviews. It's review time, Gons. And I want to remind everybody, if you haven't done it yet, now is a great time to leave ratings and reviews. It helps the show out a whole bunch. Just Google Canary Cry News Talk Apple Podcasts. It'll take you to the page, leave a rating and a review. It's super helpful for spreading the show, letting new people find the show. It's something we have no control over. This is all you folks. So ratings and reviews helps a ton. And I want to read a few here. For Canary Cry News Talk from Peter One Piper says, it's a lifestyle. Do my Canary Cry, it's a lifestyle. Do my algorithms read my content? Should I say something positive here to dupe it into bringing this great podcast to more listeners? LOL, asking for a friend. And the answer is yes, Peter One Piper. You need to say something good in the review because the algorithms use that to share it with other people. And you're not duping it. You're telling the truth. It's truth. So there you go. Thank you very much, Peter Piper. Then we have one from 777. Jesus loves you. 777 says, God bless. Great place to grow as a Christian. Jesus loves you. God bless. Thank you very much. Jesus loves you. Because that's sometimes we'll get some angry people saying we don't talk about Jesus enough. And I would say we're always talking about Jesus. The context of everything that we talk about.
Yeah, the entire show.
The entire show is in context of scripture and prophecy and the ultimate gospel message. So thank you very much. Jesus loves you. Next, we have Tinfoil Hat Man.
Ooh.
And this is a good one. Longtime listeners will love this. Better than upgrading to kangaroo legs. To give myself the advantage in the future job market with all the Flippy robots taking over, I was thinking about getting genetically upgraded to having kangaroo legs. You and me both, tinfoil hat man. Thanks to this show, it has changed my mind. I now realize how all the propaganda from the lamestream was really trying to convince me to be their neo-Nephilim prototype. Sorry, all the propaganda from the lamestream was really trying to convince me to be their neo-Nephilim prototype and to destroy my humanity. Thanks for rattling my cage. Don't be a slave to fake. Embrace the real. Amen, tinfoil hat man. Thank you very much. These are all 5-star reviews, by the way, so thank you for that.
Fantastic. Love it.
And lastly, on this came in on Canary Cry Radio, our other show. Check it out if you haven't. Canary Cry Radio, different from Canary Cry News Talk. Again, from Jesus Loves You, 777. Jesus Loves You, 777. Says, God bless. A great place to grow as a Christian. Jesus loves you. So a little double up there, but I believe that is true. Both shows are a great place to grow. So thank you to all of our reviewers. And if you have not done it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Head on over. Leave us a rating and a review. We'll read it on the show, and it really helps the show out a ton. And Gons and I read them all. So it's a great way to give us a little ego boost once in a while. We need it. Okay. All right. Anything else for this break, Gons?
I think that's it. Let's get back in.
Let's wake on up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Wake up, folks. Here's the thing. We're gonna get into the TikTok stuff. Gons, you want to? I have not seen this. You want to tell me about this?
Okay, so the first one, we don't have a jingle here, but
yeah, we do.
We do for TikTok.
For this first story.
Oh, what is it? What did I put there? Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, yes, we do have a jingle. I'm sorry. Did I actually put it in here and ready it? I think we did.
Other. There is no other. Like mother. So treat her right. Treat her right. Come on.
Woo. Gotta treat your mommies right. This is KXII.com. Denison teen goes viral after mom falls through ceiling during TikTok video. And before we jump into the TikTok story, let me just play this clip. Oh, hold on. Let me just
when her mom made an unexpected appearance in the video.
Oh my God.
Okay, so what happened was, and I won't play the whole clip here because it doesn't really matter, but a girl was making a TikTok video where she's singing, and her mom comes through her ceiling.
Falls through the
Falls
ceiling.
through. The leg just pop right through.
Oh, man. Mothers, man, they put themselves in harm's way all the time.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the news report makes it a big deal or whatever and tries to make TikTok, you know, they don't really mention how China has all of her data now and is able to data mine all of her family's.
That clip of her mother falling through the ceiling is going to be used for Chinese propaganda.
Yeah, for ceiling repair. But it was kind of just a funny story there. And you know, I think it's hilarious how once the mom's leg kind of pushes through the ceiling there, she just kind of hangs there. She doesn't try to do anything.
You can only see her leg, but the shock is palpable. She doesn't scream. She doesn't do anything. Imagine just falling through your floor out of nowhere.
Well, the story,
is a shocking experience.
The story's funny too because the girl who made the video was being interviewed by this news report, and she was like, I told my family to be quiet because I'm about to make a video. And, you know, I got really, you can tell I get a little bit upset right before because I hear loud noise. And so maybe mom was, you know, she was being a good mom, you know? Yeah, I just kicked a hole through your ceiling, but I'm going to stay quiet. I'm not going to disturb you.
Still trying to stay quiet after she falls through the ceiling. Oh, that's funny. Right.
Anyway, so that's a little setup to the TikTok story of more disturbing nature.
Welcome to Chinese News!
And this is coming from BusinessInsider.com. The headline is TikTok owner ByteDance rejected Microsoft's bid for the app's U.S. operations and is said to have chosen Oracle as its U.S. technology partner. This is big news. Of course, as you've heard, it'll review, I'm sure, in the article. But remember, TikTok, Chinese government-owned social media platform, mining the data of Americans for years now and using it for nasty purposes. Trump doesn't like that. Remember, data is a commodity. It's a national commodity that directly, can influence the GDP of a nation. And so exporting American data to China would be like exporting American oil to China. It's a very important commodity, and Trump is trying to keep it. So he demanded, well, let's get into the story. The Chinese owner of TikTok has rejected Microsoft's offer to buy the popular video app's U.S. operations, according to a statement from Microsoft released Sunday. The move left Oracle as the sole publicly known contender to purchase the American operations of TikTok. Quote, ByteDance let us know today that it would not be selling TikTok's U.S. operations to Microsoft. Microsoft wrote in a statement, quote, we are confident our proposal would have been good for TikTok's users while protecting national security interests. Quote, to do this, we would have made significant changes to ensure the service met the highest standards for security, privacy, online safety, and combating disinformation. And we made these principles clear in our August statement. We look forward to seeing how the service evolves in these important areas. Now, of course, look, you're trying to buy a Chinese data mining operation. Yeah. They're not going to sell it to the company who is committing highest standards for security, privacy, online safety, and combating disinformation. That goes against the whole point of what China was trying to do. So, article continues. It is unclear as to why Microsoft's bid was rejected. No, it's not. No. I just told you why. A representative from ByteDance did not immediately return Business Insider's request for comment. President Donald Trump and a group of ByteDance's U.S. investors have shown support for Oracle acquiring the U.S. operations of TikTok, as the company has close ties with the Trump administration. Sources involved in the acquisition talks told the New York Times that ByteDance had named Oracle as its technology partner, though the company's bid has not been publicly accepted by the Chinese internet company. The Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post reported Sunday that Oracle was chosen in the deal for TikTok's American operations, and the Journal said it would be named the app's trusted tech partner in the U.S. Trump first set a deadline for the acquisition of TikTok's U.S. operations for September 15th, but since then, the president has issued two executive orders that appeared to extend the deadline first to September 20th and then to mid-November. The Journal reported Wednesday that ByteDance was in talks with the U.S. government regarding possible arrangements that would avoid a full sale of TikTok's operations in the U.S. following months of speculation about which American company would take over the app's American operations. And that is the end of the article. So, just to summarize there, Microsoft, of course, trying to get in on the TikTok sensation. Microsoft having, no direct social media service of its own, saw the chance to get into the biz with a proven company, a proven technology. But instead, Oracle got in. Now, Gons, you want to tell us a little bit of your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so first off, obviously the data mining, you already kind of covered some of those aspects, but I have a wife, Basil, who happens to work in IT, and she is very familiar with Oracle, as both because of the applications that they offer for businesses. But let me just throw this little gem out there. I'm sure nobody's really talking about this part of the angle for what Oracle is involved with, but Oracle also provides the technology or the information technology infrastructure for CERN. Did you know this, Basil?
I did not know that specifically. That does not surprise me, though.
Yeah, exploration in the cloud. This is oracle.com/customers. /viewpoints, and it says here, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, is turning to the cloud to see its IT infrastructure can become more scalable, secure, and economical to operate. And so there you go. 49 petabytes of data was produced by the LHC experiment in 2016.
Wow.
And so Oracle, being the data application layer for CERN, is concerning, given the fact that they're the ones that may adopt the U.S. partnership. This is not a full takeover, if I understand correctly, with TikTok. It's not going to be a, hey, we outright
partnership,
own.
that's the scariest part about it.
Yeah, the partnership. Yeah, technology partner. What do you mean partner? I'm sure Trump is, he's going to bust out the super duper missile for this one. He's not going to be too happy about this partner talk.
Yeah, and for those, just to catch you up if you're not familiar with Oracle, basically Oracle is a technology company that has their hands in the data layer of tons of huge American businesses. I mean, they're ubiquitous, and there's a lot of different services they provide, but they're sort of the superstar in business technology right now. Especially for big data type companies. So it's concerning this partnership language. The whole point of this, Trump trying to force this sale is that we wanted to take the data mining out of the hands of the Chinese and stop, exporting this commodity over to China, at least without getting paid for it. And, this technology partnership, now they haven't quite revealed all the details of this partnership, but I don't like that. I don't want Oracle, the company that manages data for most of American, big business, as well as CERN, to be partnered with the Chinese government. This does not feel right to me.
Yeah, I'm discovering another Chinese logistics company that Oracle is involved with directly in China called Carry, EAS Logistics.
Yeah.
So diving into deep business data using Oracle autonomous data warehouses. So yeah, I mean they're in everywhere. Oracle is all over the place.
Right.
And this is not. You know what? I don't think this is like a downgrade of TikTok. This would be like an upgrade. Be like, yes, more data management in the cloud.
Exactly.
This is not.
What is
the
this
exact
partnership
opposite
involve?
Yeah, I don't know.
Will the Chinese government now have access to Oracle's data, or is Oracle? I mean, I'm sure they're going to try to at least claim that the setup is, Oracle handles all the data, doesn't give it to China. They're partnered up, so don't worry. All this kind of stuff. I'm sure that's how they're going to try to spin it.
Yeah.
But it's, whatever. The PR doesn't matter, man. All that really matters is what's really happening.
What's really happening with the data. So I'm sure they will supply not just the application layers, but the servers, the actual physical servers will, the server farms and stuff will be all Oracle based. And yeah, I don't know, man. Plus, if it's a partnership, what does that mean? Like, do they split the data? Do they?
Yeah, we do not need more partners with a national enemy here. Now, I'm just going to follow this link and maybe it'll expand the conversation because it kind of said something I wasn't fully aware of, which is Donald Trump's connection to Oracle. I was claiming that Oracle, has a connection to the Trump administration, and it's taking me to a New York Times article, which is freezing up and nothing is happening. Oh, my entire browser is frozen now. Cool.
I'm looking at it here. It's TikTok bid highlights Oracle's public embrace of Trump. The tech giant stands out in Silicon Valley for its close ties to the administration, which must bless any deal for the social media app. Let's see. In March, when Trump administration ordered can't read it. Must subscribe.
It's on a timer. They want to get us
subscribe.
I know. I'm trying to browse it super quick to see what the actual connection is. Seems loose. I'm not really seeing anything.
It's probably just that they're working with them, and then obviously all the mainstream outlets are like, they're working with the orange man,
Right. Yeah. One of my eyeballs is falling off here.
Uh-oh.
It's happening again.
Turning into a Cyclops Nephilim.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it, but I want to simultaneously catch up people who this is their first show, but also not. Oh, the eyeball has fully fallen off. Uh-oh. Wake up, sheeple. He's gone full Illuminati.
Oh, no. Oh, no, you look like this crazy psychotic one-eyed Cyclops. This is
need better tape. This dollar store Scotch tape is not doing the trick anymore. So there you go. TikTok, the attempt of the Trump administration to take the data mining rights from China and keep it on within American borders, it seems to be a little shaky. And, depending on the true connection between Trump and Oracle, I don't know, maybe there's a financial aspect to that. Maybe this is a case where Trump is kind of doing something, to enrich himself. I don't know. The details are not available, but this was big news. And so just trying to keep everybody updated. If you got kids, you got teenagers sending all their data to China. And it's not just their videos.
I know.
It's not just the videos. It's every piece of data on their phone is getting copied and sent to China. That's I see all these kids posting, I don't care if the Chinese see my videos. I hope they do. It's not about that.
No, that's not what it is.
Dumb kid. Come on. All right.
All right, we got a couple stories left here. I'm going to go through this one very quickly because we're running a little short on time, but this is a quick ready to be cyborg type of story.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
This is livemint.com, and this is the 10 biggest tech trends to come, from talking bikes to tile TVs.
Ooh.
And I'm sure you would enjoy the talking bike there. But the first one, dinner won't get burnt. An oven of the future will basically give you microwave convenience with restaurant quality and ultimate control. So it says, great, fantastic. Pills will diagnose us.
Yes.
Yeah. We have Fitbits now, but now you can just swallow a pill and it'll diagnose you.
Beautiful.
Not really stoked about that one. Bikes will talk back. This one I wanted to do for you.
Thank you.
As a bike enthusiast.
You get bored on your bike, you can just have a little chat with it.
Apparently, as e-bikes and scooters replace cars in the urban infrastructure, they'll offer riders info as detailed as that on car dashboards, like via augmented reality, says Shabazz Stewart, founder of Oni, 2 O's NEE. I don't know what that is. Maker of secure bike and scooter parking pods. Bonus, quote, your bike will be able to communicate with you what it needs, like if your tires are low or your gears are messed up, he said.
Why does it need to talk? What about just a little screen?
I don't know. Because
little screen. Let me look at it.
Because takeover. Will be visionaries. Oh, this one's crazy. Extreme camera technologies might well be embedded in your phone, AR glasses, or even optical implants, giving you, quote, superhuman vision like x-rays in your eyes, says Ramesh Raskar, founder of the Camera Culture Group at MIT. Other innovations, you could, quote, read a book without opening it, he said.
Whoa.
Or see through fog while you ride your talking bike home.
What?
So are you ready to become cyborg?
When they say reading a book without looking at it, are they just saying audiobooks? Your bike can just play an audiobook?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Read a book without opening it. I don't know what that means. It's
like the most roundabout, weird way to just say audiobook.
Tile TVs, okay. Will eat smarter. You and I both have struggled with giant weight. No, it's not giant weight, but just a little overweightness.
Oh, I just keep growing, man. Just keep growing.
I know. I go up and down.
I'm trying to set a record now.
Oh, great. Is that that's why your dinosaur growl was just from the depths of the belly,
right.
The power gut.
I just need the power belly for my apocalypse armor.
We'll all eat smarter. Plates that use sensors and artificial intelligence will, quote, show diners information they need to stay safe, says Linda
Stay safe?
Yeah, co-founder of Nido and Dishcraft Robotics. Smart plates would be able to detect bacteria and viruses, show how fresh food is, and test for allergens like peanuts. It can even show calories, but we probably won't add that feature to a dessert plate. Why do we need everything to be smart? Why can't we just be normal?
Smart plate.
Smart plate.
Wow.
I can't eat that. My smart plate says no.
Yeah.
We'll use our heads. Of course, this is more of the, brain-computer interface type thing. Pond scum will fuel cars. Yeah, like just,
That's cool.
Fossil fuel type stuff. With green fuel. A bright future is ahead. An LED bulb purchased today might not need changing for a decade. By that time, illumination might come from lasers diffused via mirrors or fiber optics.
Wow.
The headlights of some BMW i8s currently use this enlightening tech, but in time it will go from stark Autobahn illumination to the cozy glow of a bedside lamp. That's one of those. What was that conspiracy about lamps and how... or light bulbs. I can't remember the name of the conspiracy, how they purposely make it go out, so people have to buy new ones.
Planned obsolescence.
That's right. I feel like this type of technology.
Conspiracy theory.
I thought it was, not a theory. I thought it was it is a conspiracy, or not a conspiracy, but just
it is a conspiracy. It's just sort of a business model. I
sure.
mean, that's the Apple business model. That's why your phone starts slowing down a couple months before the new phone comes out.
Right. So, this whole new lighting thing is very much, I feel like we've had this technology for years.
Planned obsolescence, yeah.
But sorry, no jetpacks. Forget zipping past traffic. Mike Hirschberg, executive director of the Vertical Flight Society, said commuters may soon be able to hop over it. He sees eVTOL's electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft becoming part of the urban skyscraper as airport shuttles, emergency medical transport, and air taxis. As for the perennial dream of jetpacks, quote, too noisy and too limited of range. Although I've seen some of that footage of the jetpack people. Pretty awesome.
I know, they're out there, man.
I know. So there you go. Just as a quick update there. I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but we always keep track of some of these developments and what type of surveillance apparatus we're going to be putting around ourselves in the coming years here. And then finally, we're going to wrap it up with a Nephilim update.
Nephilim update.
And I was hoping to spend a little more time on this one, but I think it's fine. I won't read the whole thing here. But this is usatoday.com. Fact check. Online post showing giant human skeletons is an old hoax.
Oh, debunked. They're trying to debunk the giants again.
No, the claim.
What is this picture of a dog on this article?
I don't know. I was trying to figure. Unearth. Okay, so there's a picture of a dog, and
a cute dog, like the Target dog with a rubber duck on his face.
And it's the label here: unearthed skeleton reveals dwarfism case in ancient China. A human skeleton dating back around 3000 BC is providing insight into dwarfism during the Neolithic period. I don't know. I'm really lost on what the reference is here. I don't know if they uploaded the wrong photo or what, but
this is a cute dog picture. What are they talking about?
What if the guy
Chinese dwarf skeletons?
I'm wondering if the guy now is like, oh shoot, picture of Sniffy.
That's suspicious, man.
It's really
suspicious.
Weird. And I don't know. Okay, the claim: the giant human skeletons were found by the thousands and destroyed by the Smithsonian. And it goes through here. I'll read a couple paragraphs. An old hoax has resurfaced in an Instagram meme claiming that giant skeletons were found but were destroyed because, quote, having to explain the existence of these skeletons contradicted the evolution of mankind and creation.
True.
I feel like this didn't resurface. It's like been a thing for like years now, ever since social media became a thing.
Yeah.
The July 25th post by user @conspiracy theories, which has gained over 54,700 likes, reads, quote, giant skeletons were found by the thousands, but most were destroyed or thrown in the ocean by the Smithsonian and Vatican. The account has not responded to USA Today's request for comment. Yeah, no kidding.
Come on, account.
The claim has...
USA Today, hit me up. I'll give you a quote.
I'll give you a quote. The one-eyed googly...
Use the PR.
Yeah, seriously. The claim has made its way across the internet in different variations over the years. A similar post appeared in 2015 claiming that the Supreme Court ruled that documentation of the giants was to be declassified. Jacksonville.org reported finding the claim to be false. A collection of photographs claiming to show the remains of giant humans also made its rounds in 2004. Snopes reported. Of course, Snopes. How did the hoax start? Yada, yada, yada. Photos and doctored photos. We know that there's doctored photos out there. So, don't think that, we know that there's fake pictures out there of giants. Yeah. And I like how they snuck in this, how they sneak in little ads for other articles. This one, fact check. Scientists didn't create Tyranny-Soros Rex embryo with chicken DNA.
Oh, fact check. Come on, fact check.
Where did the images come from? One photo of the giant remains is a manipulated image of a 1993 dinosaur dig. In Niger, Snopes found the user who shared the photo added a giant skull into the image as the original photo had no such skull.
You can't fact check me. I saw it.
I love these little fact checks here. Image doesn't show massive tornadoes. It's an edited evolution of one tornado. Another fact check. UN Agenda 21-2030 New World Order is not a real document. Are you kidding me? Their whole website has like a giant 2030 plan thing. Anyway. Okay. Another, let me just wrap this up here. The most recent version of the hoax claim that the Smithsonian destroyed thousands of giant skeletons. In 2017, Smithsonian Magazine reported on a photo of the Cardiff giant that people believe to be true, writing that the giant remains, quote, one of the 19th century's America's most famous hoaxes, according to scholar Michael Petit. Blah, blah, blah. More fake news, archaeological digs. Story appears on Satire. And then giant skeleton myth and religion. This is where they try to, really nail people here.
Yeah.
The discovery of large vertebrae bones were initially misinterpreted as the remains of giant humans, according to a 2017 study in historical biology. Quote, the skeletons of Cyclops and Lestragons, misinterpretations of quaternary vertebrae as remains of the mythical giants. From there, Greek and Roman writers such as Strabo, Philostratus, Pliny, and many others interpreted the huge skeletons as bodies of the mythological giant Antaeus Cyclops and others. And I didn't know they had a study with this because that was one of the points to push back on. It was like, hey, you have all these people, these like ancient Greek writers, including I think Josephus wrote about him as well, about how they had giant skeletons on display. So I didn't realize that the historical biology sector there had to do a whole debunk of that to try to, poo-poo any of those notions.
Right.
A 2016 study that examined, quote, correlates the belief in the narrative about the discovery of giant skeleton remains, found those who believed the myths were, quote, significantly associated with greater anti-scientific attitudes, stronger New Age orientation, greater religiosity, stronger superstitious beliefs, lower openness to experience scores, which, and higher neuroticism scores. Ulrich Lehner, a Warren professor of theology at the University of Notre Dame, said the problem arises when one understands the book of Genesis as a history book with, quote, literal, end quote, information. It's a book of stories conveying a theological message, and mistaking the category of a text leads to a complete misunderstanding, Lanier said to an email to USA Today. The Catholic way of reading Scripture never clashes with science and reason, while the fundamentalists' reading of Scripture demands sacrifice of reason. For us Catholics, however, reason and faith are always in harmony, Lanier said. A Catholic, therefore, has no problem with either evolution or seeing the story about the giants as a myth integrated into the Bible to emphasize fall and sin, but not as a historical account. Okay, all right. Our ruling, false. The claim that giant skeletons were found by the thousands and destroyed is rated false because it is not supported by our research. Thank you, USA Today. Your research has concluded that it is false. Our research.
Funny.
I know. The myth has been debunked repeatedly throughout the years, and the photos of the giant skeletons have been altered. Outlets that have reported on the giant skeleton have removed the articles and published a retraction. And so there you go. There's your Nephilim update. Although I am curious if they looked into the giant of Kandahar. Do you know about the giant of Kandahar?
Remind
Basil?
me.
That's the giant the military allegedly came in contact with in Afghanistan.
Right. Yeah,
the 15-foot giant. And that's the kind of stuff, it's hard to, find hard proof, but you got people that are, credible military people coming out and saying it. So either it's a huge psyop to try to keep the lie going that there were never any giants, or it's, one of those issues that USA Today probably doesn't want to touch because it's a little too freaky out there, or they might find, that they have to at least consider that all this debunking was for naught. But I find it interesting. Giants back in the news. USA Today putting a whole spotlight on the idea of giants existing, which directly ties to the biblical Nephilim.
Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Nephilim update.
There we go, folks. Well, that's a show, I think, Gonzo.
Yeah, I think
we did it.
I'm ready.
We did it, and we're only a little bit past time. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I want to give a big old thank you again to our Twitch followers and especially our producers that came in this week. Remember to thank your producers, folks, because we wouldn't have the show without them. And if you need a reminder, that's Jan, Brian, Kyle, Spears Desert, and Jack. Thank you. As well as the art from Allie and Vela and Jocelyn. You guys are the best. So talented. We've got the best producers in town, Gons.
Yep.
And so thank you very much. If you want to become a producer, we need producers for next show. The next show will be on Wednesday, the 16th. That's in a couple days, folks. Remember, we'll be going on live sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're looking for a moment that you've been looking for a sign, whether or not you should support the show, become a producer, this is it. Please remember us at patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. And we will drop both of those links into the chat. Save it for later, or just go there now to become a producer for next episode. Thank you so much. Remember to also leave ratings and reviews. We need that. We literally cannot tell you how important it is to keep a nice steady flow of ratings and reviews coming in. But we do know that it is very important. So thank you so much for those leaving reviews, whose names are Peter One Piper. Thank you very much. 777 Jesus Loves You 777 and Tinfoil Hat Man. And I look forward to reading more reviews. You can just search Canary Cry News Talk Apple Podcasts on your browser there. It'll take you right to the show. You can leave a rating and a review there. Super easy. Thank you very much. Now, remember, you can support the show in a lot of ways, not just financially, but you can also create art, create jingles, create music. We've got a great Canary Cry mixtape coming up at the end of the show, so stick around for that. Or you can simply help share the show. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter, share an episode with a friend. Directly tell your friends about it, your family about it. People are waking up, and we'll be happy to help them navigate this strange world, the narrow path of waking up to the truth of this world. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
That was a canary in the coal mine.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. I want to say, Gons, we're getting a lot of praise. The stream was clean today. Not so much buffering, no cutoffs, no Skype disconnections.
Yeah.
It's finally working. All the hard work is paying off.
I know,
we
but
still got a couple upgrades we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But hopefully that just makes it even better.
Yeah, we are streaming at a lower quality though. So that's part of the reason why that's probably less. Yeah.
I'm sure people are happy for the lower quality as long as the buffering stops. So thank you for sticking around, folks, and returning to the show. Remember, subscribe to the podcast feed. Search Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk in your podcatcher and just subscribe. You need it. Do it. The podcast version of the show, much better audio quality, and it goes up same day as the live stream. So if you missed the live stream, you can catch the show. Thank you so much. Remember to follow me on Twitter, Basil_Rosewater. Keep it going. My mission to become a mech pilot is still continuing. We're making headway, and it's all because of you guys supporting my sort of quixotic adventure into the land of Twitter. Okay, folks, that's all for this episode. Remember, we'll be back on Wednesday, sometime between 12 and 3 p.m. PST. That's Wednesday, the 16th. Remember to become a producer before then, folks. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cave.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
I wanna shake things up, shake things up. I wanna shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I wanna stir up some controversy. I wanna rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
On my color TV, none of the snooze is what I want to see.
sky, there's a new voice saying we're not afraid to die. Let the whole world make believe it's blind and deaf and dumb, but nothing can change the shape of things to come. There are changes lying ahead in every road, and there are new thoughts ready and waiting to explode. When tomorrow is the day, the bells be told for sound, but nothing can change the shape of things to come.
I am Dr. Future with host Basil and Gons at Canary Cry Radio, and I invite you to join us as together we experience a future quake.
Crowding out old realities. There's revolution sweeping in like a fresh new breeze. Let the old world make believe it's blind and deaf and dumb,
but nothing can change the shape of things. Nothing can change the shape of things. Nothing can change the shape of things. Nothing can change the shape of things to come.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. Yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cat